Some of us are mindful about the food we eat. Some of us are mindful about who we spend time with and what we do as a hobby, but not many of us are mindful about the content we consume, especially on the internet. I think this is because many people haven't realized or thought about the concept of having an online diet. And I think many of us, including myself not long ago, don't realize the amount of influence the content we consume can have on us and our personalities, our thoughts, and our feelings. Therefore, today I wanted to talk about the 3 stages of content consumption. The first level is mindful consumption. And when I was a teenager, the generic content I would consume usually was like random YouTube videos and maybe video games or even YouTube content of people playing video games. While I realise it's important to switch off occasionally, and it is absolutely healthy to do so, and I implore people who are workaholics to try this every once in a while and actually let their hair down. But if you want to, improve yourself, if you want to expand your way of thinking and you want to learn something new, then you need to consume more content or a different type of content than just Love Island, EastEnders, and just YouTube gaming videos. You need to do more than just get angry at the news about topics that you can't really change. Ever since I switched from consuming this kind of content to consuming more intellectual and I guess you could say thought-provoking content over the past few years, I feel like it's had a dramatic change in who I am as a person. I feel more thoughtful, I feel less stressed, and I feel more switched on in just day-to-day life. Level 2, moving on, is content processing and storage. If you're in a place where you're reading an interesting book, or maybe you're listening to a useful podcast, then what do you do with that information? If you're like me and you're a bit of a dummy and you'll forget the content in like a day or 2 after you learn it, then if something resonates with you and you think it's going to be really useful in your life, or even if you just think it's kind of interesting, then how do you make the most out of that content? I think the single best thing you can do with this information is find like a digital space to store it and even process it. I use an app called Notion, but there are tons of alternatives out there. By doing this, you are doing something called cognitive offloading, which in this case is where if you have something on your to-do list or you have read a book, maybe on investing or philosophy, and you find it really interesting and you want to write it down, then writing it down means that you're relying less on your subconscious to remind you of that fact in the future or that thing you need to do, therefore expending less energy and willpower. So again, having a digital space to type all these interesting things down, it's really useful. You could even go a step further and find or have your own page on Notion or Word or whatever, and have a way to compare and contrast all these different sources in one space, but more on that in a different video. Level 3, creating content. And then I know this might seem quite niche and it's what I'm doing right now in this video, but before you switch off this video, just hear me out. So in the process, if you've got this far, you've firstly spent time reading and understanding the content. You've then secondly found some area or some space, digital space, or even like a page to write down or type down this information so that it can be stored. Now thirdly, creating the content is just a final step. It's a fraction of the time you've spent so far. And as you know, with humanity, as the human race, we grow together when we share content, when we share ideas. And if a certain fact or an idea really resonated with you and you found it to be really useful, it's likely to benefit at least one other person out there. And because we have this medium called the internet, we can distribute and share ideas like I'm doing now to a seemingly unlimited amount of people. But just to clarify, this doesn't have to be YouTube videos like you're watching right now. It can also be articles, blogs if you prefer writing, for example, or even tweets if you want to keep it short and concise. By doing this, you're improving your ability to be able to read about a content, understand it in your own way, and then explain it to other people in a way that is digestible and that they understand, which in general is an amazing skill to have. You, in general, will be helping, hopefully, other people with the content you share. You will most likely improve your writing skills along the way. And if it goes well enough, you might even have another source of income in your life for more financial stability. If you enjoyed this video, then you might enjoy a different video that I've done that I'll link here, talking about my thoughts on social media. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you there. Adios, amigos.